You think you know the best Pistons team in history? I'm Devon Lucas, and I'm going to stir up some controversy and let you know why one group's legacy should be far stronger than the other this week on the Ultimate Sports Debate, which begins right now. Detroit, blue collar, take no prisoners, bring it every night. Growing up in this city, you learn people go into their jobs every day, and at the end of it, many times at the end of it, especially during the winter, people head to their homes or local bars and take in a Pistons game. The Pistons, since their move to the Detroit area from Fort Wayne years ago, have exemplified toughness, grit, and determination on and off the court. From Dave Bing to Isaiah Thomas to Ben Wallace, each generation of Pistons fans have watched this team go about their business just as they do everything else. Hard work, dedication, never putting an eye in team. Over the years, the team has given the state of Michigan some of the greatest basketball memories and games, not only in local sports history, but also in NBA history as well. From their rivalries with the Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, and in later years the Heat, Cavs, and Pacers, the Pistons have always brought the never say die attitude to the court. And this week's episode is going to showcase that mentality by debating which Pistons team is the best of all time. The two eras that we are comparing today are the Bad Boys Pistons from '88 to '91, and the Going to Work Pistons from 2002 to 2008. This category is going to be broken up into three areas: winning, potential Hall of Famers, and playing styles. First category we're going to look at today is winning. The Bad Boy Pistons won back-to-back NBA championships in '89 and '90, with 4 trips to the Eastern Conference Finals from '88 to '91, while the Going to Work Pistons won 1 championship in '04, made another trip to the finals in '05, and made 6 straight trips to the Eastern Conference Finals from '03 to '08. The common theme that can be used with both of these areas can be consistency. You knew that when they took the court, there was a strong chance that the opposing team was not going to come out with a win and may come out with a little bit bruised and battered bodies from their intense defensive effort. This group could also be a great offensive team, but more importantly, they were absolutely clutch. See 007 in the 1990 Finals, Game 6, courtesy of the microwave, Mr. Vinnie Johnson. The Bad Boys had to win in an era where the Celtics had Bird, McHale, Parrish, and Dennis Johnson. The Bulls had an emerging Michael Jordan. The Lakers were going through the Showtime era, and every team in the league had at least 1 or 2 players who could have been or were first ballot Hall of Famers. The Pistons of '02 to '08 did have to go up against very stiff competition, bigger players, faster players, more athletic players and teams in different schemes, but played enough defense to stifle even the best players. This is the same team that in 2004, they were able to handle and stifle Kobe and Shaq. No question, 2 future Hall of Famers, to the point where most Pistons fans would say the Pistons scored a 5-game sweep in the series. The '05 team was on the verge of winning a second championship had Rasheed Wallace decided to play a little bit of defense on Robert Horry in Game 5 against the Spurs, but I digress. In terms of consistency over time, the Going to Work crew would have to win out due to keeping a consistent team together long enough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and once there, hey, we all know anything can happen at that point. The Bad Boys, after the '91 loss to Michael's Bulls, the team was broken up very quickly, and the decline happened almost immediately. Advantage, the Going to Work crew. Potential Hall of Famers. This area is not even close to a debate. The Bad Boys had Isaiah Thomas, who is without question one of the top 10 point guards of all time. In fact, maybe one of the top 20 players of all time. During that run, Isaiah was only comparable to John Stockton and Magic Johnson. That's it. No one else in the league played like Isaiah and had his fire to go along with it. Then you throw in Joe Dumars, who was a 3-point marksman and could play amazing defense on the best in the league, including Michael and Byron Scott in the playoffs post-possession after possession. Throw in Bill Laimbeer and Dennis Rodman, who are your meat and potatoes down low, grabbing rebounds, occasionally getting a few shots in, but always ready to scrap to defend Isaiah, Joe, or any of the other Pistons who weren't always known for getting in the brawls. Though Isaiah definitely held his own against anybody, big or small. The Going to Work group basically had one player who might have a remote shot at the Hall of Fame vote, and that's Ben Wallace. But while his body of work in Detroit during that time was amazing with his multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards, his offense was absolutely horrible. The team played a style that was not conducive to producing Hall of Fame players, which we'll explore more in just a minute, but more of developing a strong team for years to come. The going to work crew can't even hold a candle in this category to the legendary Bad Boys. Advantage, Bad Boys teams. Playing styles. The Bad Boys played a style of basketball that was so stifling in a defensive setting that the league wanted to change the rules so that the team couldn't be as dominant. And Michael Jordan constantly complained that the Bad Boys played too rough a defense, which ultimately led to analysts coining the phrase, the Jordan rules, when it comes to fouls on star players. That's how you know a team is truly legendary, when only playing defense can change the way a league and its officials operate a basketball game. The Bad Boys were clutch, as I mentioned earlier, but during that era, it was nothing to see a game end in a score such as 130 to 128 consistently, night in and night out. Scores that are unheard of in this era. The 02 to 08 Pistons, while they played amazing defense, and with Ben Wallace, everyone in the area feared his absolutely amazing throw. They were extremely boring on offense most times, having many games end with them winning in the scores in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If it wins games, it's fine, but it doesn't always make for great television and a fun style. Advantage, Bad Boys. Overall, while both eras of Piston basketball were outstanding in terms of great basketball tradition, I'll have to hold winning consistently over the Hall of Famers and playing styles. And yes, I know people would say, Devon, what if each played in the other one's eras? It would be different. I say, well, sure, it probably would be. But that can't happen, and it makes no sense to deal with fantasy in that sense. So for the sake of this show, the going to work Pistons teams gave the area consistent winning for a long period of time, and for an area that needs excitement and something to look forward to year in and year out. The product may not always be the best, but as the old adage goes, winning cures everything and always brings a big smile to people's faces. Hope I've stirred up a little conflict on your mind and will make you debate a little bit amongst your friends at the local watering hole soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, you crazy sports freaks.